everybody, Deb Cooper here, advice columnist on survivingdating.com and askheartbeat.com as well as San Francisco Examiner.com. I'm here with another, let's say, suggestion for how you can improve your dating life. One of the things that comes in, a question that comes in a lot, has to do with first dates and why the second date never came about. A lot of people are confused about that because they feel like, it seemed like we got along great. We had, something in common. I mean, it was fun. And at the end of the date, he said, I'll call you. Well, he never called. Or the guy's like, well, I was gonna call her, but I don't know. Something happened. I just didn't really feel like it. So what I wanted to do was kind of go over some of the reasons why you probably didn't get that second date. Now, keep in mind that there are going to be times when you meet people where there's just no chemistry, even though on paper you fit. There's something that you find out about the person that makes you go, I don't think so. Something like that. We're not talking about those. We're talking about the kind of dates where maybe you inadvertently did something that totally turned the person off, or you set yourself up for failure. So I want to go over those. Now, number one thing I think that people do, the mistake people make when they're dating, is they don't really understand what the concept of dating means. A date is not a relationship because you go out with someone, they ask you out. That's not your boyfriend. I get this a lot from teenage girls. They just don't understand this. If you're going out on a date, all that means is this guy that asked you out wants to set aside some time so the two of you can get to know each other better. You'll do something fun, something entertaining, something, that you hopefully both enjoy, so that you have an opportunity, get a little slice out of your busy lives to really spend some time with someone one-on-one, getting to know them better. That's it. That's all a date is, okay? So that's number one. What follows that are people that have totally unrealistic expectations of a date. Now, what does that mean? That means that, sometimes you'll see these women, they're like, oh my God, he's so fantastic. He's so wonderful. This could be my soulmate. Can you slow down a little bit? You don't even know the dude's middle name yet, and you're already trying to figure out how his name looks with yours and your first name with his last name and all this stuff. Just calm down. You don't know anything about this person yet. His personality, the stories. I mean, you may find out that he has, some really egregious behavior patterns that just are not going to work for you long term. Number three, you are one of those kind of people that goes out with anybody that asks you with absolutely no discernment, or you're a guy, you just pick a woman just for how she looks with no clue as to what kind of person she is. You got to figure out what this person's all about. Spend some time talking to them. I advise talking on the phone if it's, a situation where you just met someone out, or if you have an opportunity to repeatedly interact with them, use that to kind of get a feel for what kind of person they are. Maybe they're not even single. I mean, you need to know, like, can we get the basics here? So if you're one of these kind of people, though, that these women that in particular will go out with anyone, you're letting loneliness and possibly boredom too influence your dating decisions. That is a very poor way to decide who to go out on a date with. Number four, you find out on the first date that your personalities don't mesh. This is very common. There may be poor communication where you feel like you have to explain and re-explain every single thing that you say. That maybe the person's very argumentative. Maybe the person's very closed. You feel like, you're pulling teeth to get any information out of them. They're very guarded. It makes you feel really weird, like they don't want to tell you things. Those are all the kinds of behaviors that would be off-putting to someone else, and leave them feeling irritated or confused about you, and they wouldn't want to go out with you again. So keep that in mind. If any of these things I'm saying ring a bell, just think about them as we go along. Number five, you as a date are socially awkward or very boring. This this is a problem. A lot of guys like to go on a date and they love to talk about their work. Well, that's great. I mean, she would need to know what you do, I suppose. We all get that. That's one of the basic getting to know you issues. But to go on and on about some project that you're working on, or, these great accomplishments that you made in some field that she knows nothing about, she's going to sit there and look at you and nod her head politely, but inside her head, she's thinking, this guy's an idiot. Can he see that I am just totally bored by this conversation? It's not engaging at all. It's like he's reciting this list of, it could be his CV for all I care. I don't care. She's trying to get to know you, not your work. So keep that in mind. If you're a socially awkward person, you might not be good at making small talk. You might, I don't know, have poor table manner. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you could do. You don't want to talk about things that are so controversial, like right on the first date, like abortion or politics, religion, things like that. Some really deep philosophical subject matter. You want it to be light. You want it to be fun. You want that woman or that man, when they leave you, to feel like, oh my God, I had such a great time. That was such a fun person. I can't wait to do that again. That's what you want. Okay, along those lines are people that are so anxious to share their life stories that they just tell too much. They talk too freaking much. I see this a lot. Like I'm out at restaurants, and the people at the table next to you, and you can just see that the person is just telling some stuff that they really just should not be telling. Like, you want to talk about every single thing that happened to you in your past relationships, or your goals for marriage, and how many children that you want, and your battle with depression, how you used to be an alcoholic and now you're at AA in recovery, the times that you got arrested, or okay, those, if if this person really wants to get to know you on that level, then there's certainly, you will tell those stories. I mean, there's plenty of time for that. But the first date, your goal is to A, get to know this person, and B, to try to get to know them even more by having a second date. And you're gonna blow it by telling, just spilling your guts about stuff that really doesn't matter. Not yet. Okay. Whatever number I'm on. If you try too hard to impress the other person, that's kind of a problem. It makes it for your date feel pressured and wondering, why are you trying so hard? You're just doing too much. And a lot of guys will do this. They want to take this woman they don't even know to the fanciest restaurant and spend all this money and do all stuff. And then you're angry at her if it doesn't go well. Don't do that to yourself. Don't try to do over compliment her, or I don't know, just overly impress her with what you do, what you have, where you've been, all this kind of stuff, who you know. Those are all those subjects that get people very irritated. Another one is, this is very, very bad, is guys, when you come across, and ladies too, I've seen you do it as well, you come across as cheap, arrogant, incompetent, or you're lacking in couth. For those of you who don't know what that means you have no manners. This for me, this is a deal breaker. If you chew with your mouth open, you sit there and you do this thing here, picking your teeth, or any kind of just ghetto fabulous behaviors like that, I'm out. There will be no second date. I'm sorry. There just won't be. I don't like a cheap man, and I hate someone who is arrogant and obnoxious. 99% of women do. Now, if a woman is looking for a real partner, these are the kind of things that are going to be very off-putting for her. She's not going to want to see you again, dude. Calm down. So, it's great that you put yourself through school. It's wonderful that you're a successful person. Mention it in passing so she gets an idea of your character and, how you handle yourself. That's what she's looking for. But do you need to trot out all your accomplishments, all your degrees, and try to make her feel stupid because maybe she doesn't measure up on your educational level, your accomplishments, your fiscal capabilities, or whatever? The idea is to get a match here, not to make your other person feel bad. Okay. And the last one is that the date was nice. That really, you guys got along. Everything was great, but it wasn't great enough. It wasn't great enough to motivate that person to want to see you again, because of the missing ingredient that must be in every single dating relationship, and that is some heat, some physical attraction, some passionate interest, some chemistry. You can be a great, great male and female in your own right, but just not work together as a couple. And there's nothing wrong with that. So if you like the person more than they like you, the feelings have to be mutual. It can't be one person liking the other more. You both have to be on the same page there. So those are my 10 suggestions. It's a very difficult search, when we're all going out dating, looking for our Mr. or Ms. Right. I understand that. It's frustrating. It's confusing. There's a lot of game players out here and silly people. But, if you have a first date and it doesn't work out, that's okay. It's time to just take what it from you, take from it what you can, learn some valuable lessons. Like I said, if you made any mistakes that are on this list of things I just read off, feel free to modify your behavior accordingly. And hopefully, the next time I hear from you, it'll be with some really good stories about the great new relationship that you got into. All right, Deborah Cooper signing out. I'll talk to you guys soon.